When I play chess and I get the white pieces, I'm usually pretty happy. I get to be aggressive, play the gambits that I want to play, and put the pressure on my opponents. But when I play as black, I feel like I'm generally on the defensive. I have to react to what my opponent is doing. They get to kind of choose which way the game goes. Particularly against d4, I feel like I really struggle. Well, just a couple days ago, I had a really nice opportunity to sit down with Grandmaster Avitek Grigorian from ChessMood.com. And in less than 1 hour, he explained to me an opening system that I can use against d4, e4, anything that white does that leads to aggressive positions. I could surprise my opponents. I didn't have to learn tons and tons of opening lines in theory. It was an amazing experience. I'm going to share it with you right now. And so if you struggle with black or you need an opening to play as black, I invite you to pay close attention. Let's get into it.
So one of the frustration is like learning big openings and then lots of theory. However, there is a practical way. When you go to an opening, which is very solid, but you go to sideline very quickly, very practical and live sidelines, you take the opponents out of the theory from the very, very beginning. You get into your comfort zone, you know the plus, and there is frustration for the opponent. And even if the engine doesn't fully approve it, you will have such a big practical advantage that you will be like, wow, I will play this forever. So I'm going to quickly teach you 2 openings. And the great thing about these 2 openings, you will use it no matter what white plays. E4, D4, C4, knight F3, G3, B3, whatever their moves. You don't need to learn one opening against each of them. And it will be super practical, fun to play, and very easy to remember. So, ready?
Okay. Yep, let's do it.
Okay, so against e4 and against d4, in both cases, our first move is going to be e6. So this is the fun thing. It's like almost pre-move. And French. However, there is one trick. People call this French defense, but wrong. It is French attack. If you have French defense, you will play passively. No, we are going to play very aggressive French. So the point is to play d5 next and then take it back with the pawn, not with the queen, and develop the queen early into the game. And after d4, d5 here, white has a few main responses, especially on the lower levels. Take, exchange variation, and pushing forward are 2 mains. And as we are attacking this pawn, there are 2 other ways: developing the knight and defending this pawn. Okay, so let's start with taking it, which calls exchange variation. This is harmless. Now, you don't really need to know theory. However you develop the pieces, everything will be fine. But I will quickly show you the system that is very fun to play, and I'm sure you will love it. So you put the knight here. Basically, you put the bishop here, and you don't develop the knight to f6, but you develop it to e7. What you are preparing here, you're not going to castle. You can castle and slowly outplay, but if you want to play fun game, French attack, not defense, what are your next move? You develop this bishop. It can go to f5 or g4. Both are fine. You are playing then queen d7, and you castle long. And then the bishop is ready. The bishop is going to help here. Why you didn't develop the knight to f6, but you develop it to e7? Because this pawn stays on f6. It covers this e5 central square, and it prepares g5 because it defends g5, h5, and you just push everything forward.
Nice.
This is very fun to play. Very easy. Sure.
Are we worried about c4 and like a rook coming to c1 and attacking our king?
Not much. Not much, because when c4, like additionally, when there is opposite castles, yeah, we both will attack each other. Now white will have additional struggle with this d4 isolated pawn, because these 2 pawns gone. Now there will be lots of tactics. Imagine this pawn is here, you play g4, and white is losing this pawn immediately, because if they move the knight, there is already a tactic, right? We can take the pawn. Even though white can take it, they cannot really take it, because there is this covered back with the check, and they lose the queen.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
Makes sense.
So here is harmless. Whatever you play, you will be fine. But this setup is like very cool. So you develop the knight here, bishop stays here, knight. Then you develop the bishop, queen, castle, and then f6, g5, h5. If c4, it's not good enough. So this is all. This is the picture you need to keep in your mind.
Yeah, I like that setup a lot.
Super. Let's go to the next one, e5. This is the advanced variation called. And here we need to talk a little bit about this position before we go further, and I show the moves, yeah? So what are black's problems now?
Bishop on c8.
Exactly. This is the biggest problem. And what are the things that white are not very happy? Can you guess?
I mean, I've seen like French. You normally play like c5, knight c6, queen b6, and you try to attack d4. That's pretty
Before,
much
yes.
all I know about it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, there is one also hidden thing, right? We have learned that in the opening principles, you don't play with one piece twice, but that also goes for pawns. And here, actually, white played second move with their pawns. Now there are two pawns, but it's black to move, and they suddenly can start aggressively to go. Now the main move in the theory is c5, which we are not going to play. On the third move, already we are going to take the opponent out of the theory and take them to our territory. But to understand the position, I will show you what's happening here, because this is important.
Okay.
So what the fight goes here, black plays c5 and immediately start attacking these central pawns. So like if knight f3, for example, yeah, after knight c6, this pawn's gone, this pawn is going to hang. So
Yep.
the way white plays is c3, and they try to keep this pawn chain.
Yep.
And then how the fight goes, usually it goes like this. Black develops the queen here, and they try to pressure this pawn. At some point, they take here. This knight goes to, you guess the place?
f5.
Yes, it usually goes to f5, and here white is a d4 backward pawn. This is how the theory goes around.
Okay.
However, what we are going to do before playing c5, we are going to solve the problem of the bishop on c8 in a very interesting way. We are playing here bishop d7. We don't show our cards. We might play c5, because if we play c5, knight c6, this is still a useful move for us.
Okay.
There are many variations after c5, c3. When this happens, this rook comes here and so on. So when we play the third move, bishop d7, we keep everything flexible. And then what we are going to play is this move.
Well,
guess
okay.
plan?
I was not going to guess that. I was not going to guess that.
Completely take the opponents out of theory. I've played a lot it in Blitz against masters, grandmasters. Like they are surprised. They already don't know what is this.
Yeah.
And we know what's happening. They don't know. We already got the practical advantage.
Okay.
You know what we are going to do, brother? We are going to trade our dark square bishop, solve the biggest problem of the position, and then play.
Huh.
Now it is a few options. Let's start if they are just continuing with castling and we play bishop b5. Now again, they have two options to take it or not to take. If they take it, we fear double pawns, but it's not a problem at all. This will be a problem if we didn't have this pawn.
Okay.
Because if you didn't have this pawn, these two pawns would be agitated pawns. However, this pawn now doesn't stay here, because if these pawns are gone, these are really weak pawns. But now this pawn stays here. And now we have perfect pawn structure. Our pawns are on the light squares. Our light square bishop is gone.
Yeah.
And we have the correct bishop. We have the dark square bishop. So pawns cover all the light squares. The bishop covers the dark squares. Rook, without making a single move, it is developed piece.
Yeah.
And then we have here a very interesting plan. So this knight, just in almost every French, the dream square is here. This is where the knight goes. We never worry about g4, because it will just weaken the opponent's king and they will attack it. The other knight goes to b6. Great square. Forever stopping anything like this in the queen side. The bishop stays on e7, and now the interesting question. What do we do with the king?
I think we leave it there and we push our G and H pawns.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. That's how I would want to play.
Yeah, we leave it here. We have learned we need to castle, but now look at this king, how safe it is. It is the world champion in safety.
Yeah.
No one can attack. There is no breakthroughs. There is no such breakthroughs. All three pieces are here very comfortably blocking. And then exactly, we are pushing this here. We are pushing farther. How do we bring the queen to the game?
Queen G8?
Yes, exactly. The queen comes from here. We push this here. The rook can join. And it is so fun to play. Our student has won numerous games with this. And this king d7 trick is just their favorite thing.
Nice. I like it.
Great. So this is they take it. If they don't take and they castle and do it, okay, we take it. And now we can go with few approaches. Our problematic bishop is gone. And now we can play with this standard French and then bring the knight, and everything is super good here for us. But if you are romantic, you like to play to have fun, yeah, there is the alternative. You don't play c5, you don't show your cards. You bring the knight here,
Okay.
play c5 when you want. But then you can also play without c5, having the knight here, and then with similar setup and push there. This is for romantic
I like that.
players.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
So this is happening if they are allowing us to play this bishop b5.
Okay.
Right. Now, a very common move people are doing, especially on low levels, is playing, oh, black is playing this, playing a6, let's open the center. And they play c4. But this is a big strategical questioning move. Because after we take, we have the bishop on c6, and now what problems do white have?
Looks like the d4 pawn.
Exactly, the d4 pawn is weak, it's backward, yeah, the c pawn is not there, and this pawn is not there, so they have this weak pawn, and they have very weak central square as well, where is hitting our knight. And it's coming here with the tempo. So let's say this, and they did knight c3. Now we have this bad French bishop, bad French bishop. Is it bad French bishop?
No,
Look at
no.
this monster, it's bombarding on the long diagonal.
Yeah.
The knight is here, queen is here, this knight is here. We are pressuring on the d4. And here you have a pleasant choice. You can castle short, but yeah, I'm like very aggressive. It's French attack. It's castling long. Full pressure here. You are going to push here g5, g4 as well. Strategically, everything is good for us. White has this backward pawn. The d5 square is bad. We have this monster piece. All our pieces are just in such great positions. This is like very lovely and easy to play.
Yeah, great.
All right. If a6, what if white plays knight c3 and they say, oh yeah, we don't play bishop b5. Now interesting thing happens. We trick them, we play c5, and white cannot play c3 anymore and defend this central pawn chain.
Yeah.
After which one, once we play knight c6, queen b6, these two pawns are going to struggle. This knight c3 is very misplaced. This is in this advanced position, white is playing c3. This is basically it. We are playing a6, bishop b5. And the last thing, what if white plays a4?
I was going to ask about that move. Yeah.
Yes. For a second, we'll jump back to the main theory. Once this happens, the main move for white here is a3. This is the place for the white pawn. They need to defend this b4 square.
Okay.
If the pawn is on a4, is misplaced, and here is why. In this position, after we play bishop d7 and a6, now if they play a4 after c5, c3, yes, they defend it, but this pawn is on a4, not a3, and it doesn't defend this square. Now it seems this pawn is defending, right? Not really. Once we continue the normal development, oops.
Yeah.
The pawn is not here, it's here. Now it's immediately under knight b4, and if we take this strong bishop of white, everything will be fine. Additionally, we can even play queen b6, attack this pawn, pressure it. If they go back and now they defend it, this square is weak.
Yeah.
We chase the bishop. If it's here, additionally, this knight can come here. So with weakening this square, everything is becoming completely different.
Yeah. And in general, it looks like the knight is the piece that goes to b4, not the bishop, right?
Yes. We chase this bishop, and usually when there is weak squares, the knights are what they are loving.
Yeah.
But a4 is like, it's not happening much. What you will face mostly below 2000 level is people are continuing something like this for c3, allowing you to trade the bishops. And then the position we had with king on d7. So it was here, yeah. This is the setup that you will face mostly. You will have the pawn here, develop the knight, bring the other knight, and this king d7. This is the most common way, what's happening below 2000. And the third common way is c4, which is strategically very problematic move for white.
Cool. Okay, one quick question. After we play a6, if they play bishop g5, what is the best way to respond? I feel like I would probably play like f6, but bishop e7 or something like that. Is that the best?
This is a very smart question. Great. So here you have all options. The favorite one is knight e7.
Okay.
What's happening then? Imagine we continue the game like this, yeah, and as it was going, and they castle, right? And we play h6, they don't know what to do with this bishop. Because if they take it, we are great. If they go back, it's under our plan. It's under our plan. This is what we wanted to play anyway.
Sure,
and then when we push this h5, h4, everything will go even faster because the bishop on g3 is going to be trapped.
Got it. Yeah, that makes total sense. Nice. Knight e7. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. So we have this, and we have e5. It's left the two other moves, knight c3 and knight d8 here. Yeah. Knight c3. We are continuing to pressure the e4 pawn, and here white has two moves, either pressuring or pinning the knight. After e5, here the main move is knight d7 in the theory, the logical move, and then pressuring the center. However, as I said, Nelson, you are not going to learn long theories. You are going to take the opponents out of the theory from the very beginning. Yeah. So I called this Kinder surprise variation, and I offered here this move.
Oh, okay.
I know. It's like what? You are Grandmaster. You are going forward and back, but this is Kinder surprise variation. Yeah. So here is the idea. This is the normal position for the knight. However, it's very limiting bishop the knight, and it is already very limited with this pawn. Remember in this pawn structure, where is the ideal square for the knight? You'd say it already twice, this square.
Yeah.
So when we put the knight here, it's very far from f5.
Sure.
So what do we do is go here. When we play knight d7 and then play c5, knight c6, how the theory goes? White plays f4 to strengthen this pawn, because this pawn is going to be gone soon. And knight f3. And there is some theory. Imagine now this knight was here and pressured together with the second knight d4 pawn.
Yeah, sure.
Now when we go back, since we lost tempos, but at the same time when we play c5, the knight on c3, white can't play c3. And f4, the most common moves that is, if you check the databases and you will face this f4 and then knight f3, and here is what we are getting, what we want. Pressuring the center and knight h6. Pawn on f4, bishop cannot take it, and our plan is very simple. Knight is here, it is here, it is here. If at some point they take and the bishop comes, the king will be here and they can never castle with this diagonal.
Yeah, great.
There are issues. If something like this is helping here, it's under tempers. Now we can develop, but maybe they will take the pawn. So we can take here, for example. We can take back and develop the knight with the tempo. If we get this bishop, great, we'll have bishop pair advantage, and we will dominate the opponent with this long diagonal. And if they keep it, now we have this move, very unpleasant pin. We want to ruin opponent's pawn structure. We want to play d4. I can go one move further just to show you one important idea in this case is if we crush this pawn structure, we have the queen here. Now how do we solve the problem of our bishop?
I feel like it should be b6, bishop a6.
You have good positional understanding for such questions. You are saying very quickly the right answer. That's right. b6, bishop a6. We will trade our bad bishop. We will take from the opponent's hands the opponent's bishop pair, and they will struggle all their game with their bad pawns. This is a very common way how the game continues in our Kinder surprise variation. This is the main position that we are getting after this knight g8. And there is no theory. There is nothing. Our next move, we want to play c5 and attack the center, and therefore the most common move, because this is what they are playing against knight d7, f4. And now we play knight g8, f4, great. our knight goes to h6. It's here. No theory. Opponent is like, what is this? Suddenly, this pawn structure is getting badly attacked, and we have many games won against grandmasters below 20 moves, like very quickly finished because the center is collapsing.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, my friend. So this was e5 move, yeah? And what the bishop g5, and white is pinning the knight, and this way they are defending the central pawn. Yeah?
Yep.
This is the, and here there are many moves for black. Bishop b4, we are also pinning the knight, we are unpinning the knight, we are taking the pawn. There are many moves and big theories. If you check hundreds, thousands of games. And then there is moves that are played only like very little. And I played French all my life. I didn't know about this move when I was a grandmaster. I learned it like years before, just years before, when one of our students said, "What do you think about this move?" I'm like, "What?"
H6. I mean, it almost looks like we're losing a pawn on d5 if we take with the queen.
Exactly. We are losing the pawn on the very beginning, but we are taking the opponents out of the theory and playing this Maquettion gambit, which I called, and we play your bishop b4. No
Oh.
theory, not really theory. Opponents are already spending on this position on average 20 to 30 seconds in blitz games because it's like, what? What's
Yeah.
this? We pin the knight, we might ruin the pawn structure, but we still want to take the pawn back. And when they take it, we take back. What happens? Now we have 3 developed pieces. White has just knight, which is pinned. We have just in one move, we are going to castle. Opponent's king is still here. And the additional problem of white is then when we put the rook on d8 and we play c5, they are going to have problems with both files. Queen is here and this is here. Knight c6 is coming. And again, this is such a headache, especially during the game when you are seeing this first time, how to face this. And people are struggling badly. Very badly.
Okay.
If they don't take the pawn and they push it, it's great. We just go back. And when this bishop is gone, the b2 pawn is going to have problems. On top of that, the knight on c3 is here. They cannot defend this pawn chain. So let's say this happens. Our next move is queen b6. Attacking this pawn, the bishop is gone. And also this pawn. White doesn't have this pawn chain with the pawn on c3. The knight on c3 is misplaced. And their position is becoming very suspicious.
Yeah. Okay. I like it.
If they don't take and keep the pin, now they are losing the pawn. We push it, and we take it. Then we can play c5, knight c6, and this is a healthy pawn. On top of everything, it's creating problems for white development. They cannot normally develop the knight on f3. So this is very healthy pawn.
Great. I like it.
Congratulations, my friend. you know you know how to play against 4 main moves. Knight c3. Oh, sorry, the third move. You know e5, ed5, and knight c3. It was premature. Congratulations. There is left knight d2. Okay, the advantage of this knight d2 move is that when we play bishop b4, it's not a pin anymore real, because if we do that, they will play c3.
Yeah.
However, what we do instead of bishop b4, we do knight c6. Again, not playing the main move. Knight f6, take c5 are the main moves. We are playing knight c6. Putting the knight in front of our pawn, which is not normal in French. Usually we keep it open. But we immediately attack the center, using that white just close their queen. It's not defended anymore. And they want to take the pawn. This is a common blunder. They push it and they give the pawn. And if they develop and defend it, we go further, pressuring here. If I play something like this to defend, knight c6 was attacking not only this pawn, but we was going to go to b4. And white has problems here. If they move the bishop, they will lose the pawn. If they give that bishop, we will take it and ruin the pawn structure. So here after knight f6, they push the pawn. We go back. Yes, we cannot play c5, but how we can attack the center?
I guess f6.
Yes, f6, what we do? And how we take it back?
I feel like it should be the knight, but maybe the pawn is good too. I don't know.
Surprise, queen.
Oh, queen. Oh, yeah. I was not going to play that.
It's not going to be easy attacked, and we keep these knights to play e5.
Okay.
We also here attack the pawn. So let's say c3. We develop the bishop. We can castle here or even immediately e5. Getting rid of our bad pawn, covering the weak e5 square, and opening our bishop. So something like this. Then we can castle or we can castle long, and everything is super for us. And with our bishops, this rook, the king is going to have to answer some questions, not easy questions.
Yeah.
That's it, my friend. There are more things, more moves in every variations I showed you. There is also here bishop d3 or knight after knight c3. There is bishop d3. Some rare moves. There is also take, and c4. But I showed you the main things. The rest you can watch in the Blackmood course, which is recorded and is it on ChessMood.
Hey guys, I want to interrupt the video briefly to tell you a little bit more about Grandmaster Avo and the insane thing that they are doing just for Chess Vibes subscribers and only for the month of May. So pay attention, I'm about to blow your mind here. So let me share my screen. This is chessmood.com. This is the website that Avatech has created. And essentially it's 500 plus hours of really good Grandmaster courses. But here's the cool part. Just for the month of May and just for Chess Vibes subscribers, and if you're wondering if that's you, yes, if you're watching this video, that's you, but you have to use the link in the description. It's a special Chess Vibes link. But if you click on that, go to their website, it's going to give you a 1-month gift for the entire month of May. You get complete access to every single one of these 500 plus hours of courses. It's absolutely insane. I've never done something like this with this much value, I don't think, ever. Okay, so check this out. All of these courses over here on the left, you will get access to for the month of May, all right? Including this one right here, Simplified ChessMood Openings, which guess what? Is just like what he's teaching me now. So if I click on this black one, it's 4 hours and 43 minutes. And if you scroll down, check it out. Where is it at? Where's there? French attack. That's what we're playing. French attack versus e5, ed5, knight c3, knight d2, bishop d3. That's exactly what he's been going through right now, except you can go at your own pace. There's quizzes. So let me show you this. Once you learn the first line, you've got quizzes to make sure you understand it. This is insane, guys. Like this is, you should pause the video right now, click the special link in the description and go download it. You don't even have to put credit card information in or anything. You just sign up, get total access for the entire month of May. The earlier you activate it, the better it's going to be because it's only good for the month of May. So like you should go do it right now and start accessing these courses. This is absolutely insane. This is just one of the slew of courses here. You've also got tactics, you've got middle game stuff, you've got end game stuff, you've got in the Grandmaster's mind, which I personally like because you get to see Grandmaster games and see how they were thinking. You've got, they do live streams where they play the openings that they teach, so you can see how they play them in live. Going back to the openings here, there's the model games section. So check this out, Blackmood model games. It's 15 hours of them showing you actual games that people have played using the openings that they teach you and explaining all the stuff that goes along with it. Guys, it is impossible to go through this course and not be an absolute expert on these openings. It's really good. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Links in the description. It is a special Chess Vibes link. That's how you get the 1-month gift membership. So make sure you use that link if you're interested. I highly recommend it. Like, you have nothing to lose, and it's really great content. So go check it out. And now, having said that, let's get back to the lesson.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Like, I'm already ready to go play some games as black.
Yeah, really, bro, really. Below 2000, this you just played, and you're like, huh. When I taught this to Gabuzia, he played Sicilian all his life. And I was like, bro, you are going to play French during the streams. And he was like, oh, against Grandmasters, I'm playing French during the streams. I said, yeah, don't worry. I taught everything him in 1.5 hour quickly.
Yeah.
And he got here. He from 29 he raised to 3,000 with French. He beat
Wow.
a few games to Daniel Naroditsky, some other grandmasters, because there is no theory. It's completely another opening. It's French. It's completely another opening. That's the
Yeah.
beauty
That's
of it.
awesome. Awesome. Great. Okay, let's do D4. I'm ready for some more.
Super. D4. Okay. Nelson, as I said earlier, whatever they play E4 or D4, we are playing E6. And because we are French player, we can play E6. We don't worry about E4 because we will play our French attack, not defense. We're going to play French attack. Yeah, because after E6, we are going to play F5, Dutch attack. And if you are not playing French, you have trouble because then you will need to play F5 first move. And then white has lots of dangerous options like E4, the Staunton Gambit, which is very dangerous on low levels. But as we are playing French, we can start with E6. If E4, we are ready for French. Otherwise, we are going to play F5. Now white has few options. Let's start with the common one, this famous London system. So let's say knight f3 or bishop f4 first. We go f5, knight f3, knight f6. Yeah. Then how London players are playing usually. They put the pawn here, they put this pawn here, this is here, this is here, and they do just this. He moves no matter what you do, having here and starting pushing here, right?
Yeah.
Now, Nelson, look how we are going to mate this king there. Okay, so what we do here, the bishop is limited here, and it has a very beautiful long diagonal fianchetto waiting for it. The bishop goes here. Usually white puts the pawn on h3, but even if they don't, we'll have the similar plans. We put the pawn on d6. We have the knight on d7. And we don't care about this bishop. We just leave it. We can mate the opponent without this bishop. Just queen e7.
Okay.
And there we go. Either we go h6, g5, or if they allow knight e4 additionally, g5, h5, g4. With this rook, soon its h file is opening. The bishop is ready to attack. The queen is ready to join the h file. If needed, the g file, right? Both queen and the rook can mate it from both files. We don't really need it for checkmating this bishop and even this rook.
Okay.
Basically, these three, okay, this four sometimes, and these pawns are just crushing all white's position.
Yeah. One question. When we play d6 earlier, are we ever concerned with e6, like knight g5, queen b3, you know, some bishop c4?
It's very well defended here. It's very well defended. The worst case, we have knight d5 every time. So let's say bishop 7, bishop c4, we will have knight d5. And then this bishop is misplaced, and then knight d7. This knight anyway goes back, and h6, g5, we threw everything back.
Got it. Got it. And you're fine with the bishop on f8, so queen e7 is totally good. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. If they play with the, like, if they're playing like classical queen's gambit, so they play c4 next move, great. We just develop the same way, and now what we are going to do, we're going to have the same setup, but with one bonus. Before playing the d6, we are going to trade this bishop.
Okay.
In London, we could not really do that, because if we give this check, then they'll play c3, and we need to go back.
Sure.
But once this pawn is on c4, this is very easy to remember, and it's logical also. Any moment the pawn is on c4, we give this check and get rid of this bishop.
Okay.
So before a6, let's say c4, f5, we prepare to get rid of that bishop.
Okay, sorry. One question that's related to this bishop b4 idea. So let's say d4, e6, bishop f4 again, f5. If they play, I think it's called Jobava London, like knight c3 right here. Do we still play bishop b4?
Correct. Yes, we do that.
Okay.
We do knight f6, and here in this variation, it's like really doesn't work for white. When this pawn is on f7 and the pawn on d5, it's completely different thing. But now they cannot really play 4. If you play b6, bishop b7, bishop b4, additionally can be knight e4, and the king is going
Got
to
it.
have
Okay.
pawns itself. So it's not very good for white.
Got it.
Which is very common for Jobava London players. They are doing knight c3, but against Dutch, it's not good for them. And yes,
Okay.
they play bishop b4.
Okay, got it.
Now, when they have these two knights, we are doing it. We are going to ruin the pawn structure. If they allow us to do that, e3, g3, whatever the move they do, we take it. If they don't allow like this, we can delay this and just go b6, bishop b7, and so on. Eventually, how we are going to have, we are going to have very similar plan. Yeah, and you guess it right. Just without the bishop on f8, we just trade it. And then same story, knight e4, and we start to pushing here. g5, h5, g4, h4.
Okay. Does white ever have any lines where they can play d5 very early and kind of cause us problems on the e6 square?
Not much.
Okay.
Because they will play another move with the pawn, pushing it forward, and it often doesn't give them anything. Imagine here in they play d5. Yeah, let's just imagine, and we ruin their pawn structure and we castle. What do they achieve? If they take it, look at these pawns.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking like after we play b6 and d6, maybe like some moment where I feel like I've played some similar positions and sometimes they play d5 at like an annoying time. But maybe I was
usually, if we are winning this pawn, we win, right? But often we will have just the e5 answer, the worst case scenario.
Okay, and you're not concerned with knight e5.
Well, like in this, like exactly in this case, it will be not good, but like we can go with moves. So let's say here a3. One thing you can do is even without before d6, you can have queen on e7. You can have knight on e4 first, and say like you should do something. If they defend it, now this never work. You can always play e5. You can take here. You can even just do some other move like queen e7.
Okay, got it.
7 doesn't give it much. You can play e5 later. You can have without e5 as well.
Okay.
Right. So we're playing e6, f5. The plan is knight f6, b6, bishop e7. The moment they play c4 with bishop f4 or without bishop f4, they play c4, we get rid of that bishop. And we have pawn on top of everything. All right.
Great.
And the last moment, if they are playing with g3 here, and they are going fine chat to themselves, not allowing us to have fine chat to ourselves. This is the last thing. And now what we are going to do here, in this case, we are going to switch to Stonewall. This pawn stays here. It's here. And the bishop is here. Now, we have this pawn on the light squares. And it seems we gave the e5 square, which is true. Also, we got this bad bishop. However, there are other things as well. As we have the pawns are on light squares, yes, our bishop is problem. But white's bishop is not happy either. All our pawns are there. It's limiting not only us, but also it's limiting them. So their bishop is not happy as well. Yeah, e5 square is weak, but also we have good control over the e4 square. Then there is the thing. Our next plan is castling. We are solving the problem with taking it to h5 with this maneuver. The knight stays here, so together with the bishop and knight, they cover this square. The queen is here. The knight goes to his dream square. And then we decide. There are different plans we can push. We can push f4. We can push g5, f4, g4. If needed, the rook can join the attack from f6. And it's again becoming a very fun position to play. So if I go once again, a little bit slower, it's here, d5. One thing to remember, you don't play bishop d6 here because after c5 you cannot go back. But we have c6 first.
Right.
And bishop d6 now. Knight c5, everything is good because you will have here, and then you can at some point even play e5, or you can go with your own previous plan with short castle. Queen is here, the bishop is going there, knight is here, then e5.
Okay, yeah, I have one question about the bishop maneuver from c8 to h5. I think like sometimes when you play Stonewall, you can just attack right away and leave the bishop on c8. When do you recommend attacking immediately versus taking 1, 2, 3 moves to get the bishop from c8 to h5?
That's a good question. That's a good question. On low levels, like below 1500 level especially, I recommend always take the bishop to h5.
Okay.
On higher level, because later you will also play with b6, bishop b7, which is fine too, but you will learn it later. For now, it's just very easy to remember, and without having like, when do I take the bishop there, without it making problems, because there are white has different options here in these positions. And in some cases you do, in some cases you don't do at all. So over 2000 level, yeah, there are these questions which we need to answer. But below that, just always take the bishop there.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have a bad habit of I get like too excited sometimes, and I'll play like knight e4, and then just immediately g5, h5, h4, just not even paying attention, and I've gotten into trouble because I just get too excited.
That's interesting. That's interesting. However, then there is this very, very interesting variation where you're not putting the bishop on d6, but you're putting on e7. Rapport used to do that. We have analyzed this a lot, and it's very interesting. So you basically have the knight on e4, and you prepare g5, h5, and push them. But this is, again, you need to play first bishop d6, feel the Stonewall positions, feel the pawn structure. Then the next level will be sometimes taking the bishop to h5, sometimes to b7, and then you can play this third setup, the bishop e7, more aggressive way.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so this is about d4, e6. Oops. Sorry. d4, e6. So if e4, we are transferring to d5, we go here, and we go to French. If c4, we are playing f5, and we are going to Dutch. If they play a move like this is important. Yeah, many people are playing f5, but it's not good because they will play now e4.
Okay.
So we want to play f5 when they have control, right? So here, what we do, we play knight f6, and they don't show anything. If e4, we go to French.
Oh.
The move they commonly play is bishop f4. There's London stuff, the Jobava London. We have the bishop on b4. Let's say this, yeah. Okay, we don't have the f5, but we are going to have. So we continue the bishop here. And we have the knight here attacking it, and the pawn here. And we again transferred to kind of Dutch, and then d6, knight here, queen here. And we'll always keep in mind that we might not castle, we might keep the king there, flexible, so we can play on both
So why did you play knight f6 first? Like, why not d5 immediately against knight c3?
If I play d5 and they play, for example, bishop f4, they are getting to what they want. They are playing this Jobava and all the time.
Ah, I see. Okay, so knight f6.
Knight f6, we keep it flexible, and now they have a problem with bishop b4.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So again, there are more things. I'm trying to keep the challenge and showing you everything in 1 hour, but there are more things which is covered in the Dutch course, which is few-hour course. So for all the details, what if here, everything is covered below 2000 level. So you will learn like even more. So this is what I'm showing. It's fully ready for you below 1500, 1800 level. What we will see in the course, it's below 2000, 1200 even, like until here you can like very well prepared and comfortable play.
Yeah, this is great. No, I'm really excited.
Super. So this is e4 and d4. And if white plays something else, let's say knight f3, we do our e6. If e4, d5, we transfers to French. If d4, f5, we transfers to Dutch. If they play something like c4, we go with our Dutch. The same is true if it plays. They are English players, they play c4, and all their lives they played against e5 or they c5, and we are playing now e6, and then we play f5. And then we go to, again, our Dutch systems. Opponents are not facing Dutch much, because when you are playing d4, yeah, what are the main openings you are facing? d5, knight f6, Nimzo, this and that, right? Dutch, you face like maybe one game out of 100. So they are not much prepared in these pawn structures, while we played this all our life, this Dutch, yeah, or French, and we have from very beginning the practical advantage, which is, I think, very, very important below 2000 level, especially. Below 2000, people often try to copy what Caruana plays, what Carlsen plays, but then there are big theories that it's not easy to remember at all, yeah? While it's, I think, a very practical approach to play openings, which are solid. They are not playing some gambit if the opponent knows you are dead. It's not that way, because even if opponent is prepared very well, we will have fight. Otherwise, to take the opponents out of the theory, you get them into your waters where you are comfortable, you know what you are doing, you have fun. As you have seen, you are almost always attacking. We are often keeping our castling, so we push our pawns there. And this is very fun to play. Our students are playing, loving it. The results are just amazing. So you should try this, my friend.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to. Thank you, Avo. This was great. I feel like I learned so much in 1 hour.
Guys, before you go, don't forget to click the link in the description to get access to all of the ChessMood courses for the entire month of May. This is a fantastic deal. I highly recommend you go take advantage of that. Big thank you to Avatech for putting this on and doing this collab with me. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay sharp, play smart, and take care.